Okay. So how I want to start is with what I want to call my State of the Union of, as a filmmaker who's lived in Los Angeles and worked in it and has made at least one feature film that has been seen by millions of people. One person's perspective on outlook on the industry, the film industry in LA in 2020. It's no surprise where we're all at right now as a collective. The shift that we're seeing, the news articles, the stories, just anything that's coming across, I don't know how else to explain it, but if you can't see a trend shifting, then I don't think you're looking close enough or anything. And what's happening in the film industry is that the people that are in control, the studios, are have pretty much almost closed that door to allowing newcomers in, unless they go through their own funnels, and still maintain all creative control. And I believe that because of technology and the internet and what everything has given us as filmmakers, the tools that we now all have access to, I think that we all have the capabilities to start creating our own set of rules, and we just need somebody or something, a movement, a push to start to break that down. And so what I see today in my industry is a massive opportunity for storytellers and filmmakers and writers and creatives and actors and directors, producers, filmmakers, all of them, like me. There's a massive open space available for all of us, and it's very, very, very difficult to see from the outside right now because Hollywood has it so guarded. But I see a path for all of us to connect to and get to, and my plan is to just try to burst open that door and hold it open long enough so that enough of us can get in and change the establishment. I would like to eliminate the term "made it." That should not be if you're an independent filmmaker and are trying to make it, or if you're an actor and you're trying to make it, if you're a screenwriter and trying to make it, you have to change that way of thinking. You have made it. We have all made it. We can make it together. We can make it together, and we can do our own thing. There doesn't need to be this thing of I have made it. The only thing that you've made it into is their system, and you've lost all control of your creativity. So if you're watching this and hearing this and you believe in me and you're agreeing with me, you all out there need to level up. And what I mean by that is you have to put in the work, and you have to stop looking at how other filmmakers did it and what they did, and you have to do your research, and you have to be a practitioner, and you have to work on it every single day, and it takes years and years and years to hone your craft. But you're not going to be able to come through the door that I'm holding up unless you level up your game. And I mean that in a technical standpoint, I mean it in a storytelling standpoint, in a structure standpoint. Go back and study storytelling throughout history of humankind. Don't just read Pulp Fiction. fact remains that a producer in Hollywood made a movie titled Evidence that was in the same genre, the same subgenre, with the same title as a film I made 1 year before I personally handed that producer a screener copy of my film. Those are the facts. My movie was completely Those are the facts. I'm not going to say his name, but you know, he knows exactly who he is. No, he doesn't know who he is. That's actually the point. Was so insignificant to him, and he probably has no idea that he even ripped my movie off. There were a lot of producers on his film. He's one of them. But the truth is that my movie was copied a year after mine came out, and it had the exact same title, the same genre, same subgenre. He spent $10 million on his. I spent $30,000. Go and look at both of them. They're both called Evidence. Go look at them. See the majority of what the internet thinks of both sides. Compare the 10 million to the 30,000. Compare the A-list, B-list, whatever list movie stars that he got in his movie. Compare the no-name people that are in mine. Compare those two films side by side. I'm asking you, if you want. It's all there on the internet. You just have to look at it. Look at those two films side by side. Have your own opinions of whether or not it was copied or not. See which one is better, holds up as a better film, is a better just overall. I admittedly, my Evidence is very 50-50. People either love it or hate it. And I understand that there's very little story in it. And I know it's found footage, and it wasn't the purpose of it. I was just trying to make that film to make it. The thing I told you not to think about, I was thinking about at that time when I made Evidence. That this would be the way for me to make it. I didn't make it. And that film that I did make was copied a year after. In the 10 years since my movie was copied and my first movie came out, and I had all these opportunities presented to me that I failed to capture because I didn't have anything next. I didn't have anything. I wasn't prepared for the moment that I got myself to. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've understood that I spent the last decade still relying on that film Evidence and what it did for me at the time. I had several other projects almost get to the point of production many times, but I was trying to get all those films made in the traditional way that people make movies. And in this city, in this town, in this business, you have your C players, your B players that jump to A or C, and then you have your A players. To give you a bracket, A players are what you see in movie theaters. C players are what you see on video. I am a B player, not by talent, by any measure of that, but by my status in the industry. And by status, I mean power or pull, my ability to make things happen or not. My talent puts me at the level of being able to play with the A players, but unfortunately I don't have the clout or the resume for them to take me seriously. I am also stuck with having too unique of a vision, too distinct of a style, both in writing and creating and directing and producing, to mix with the C players. I do not want to be with the C players. I have too much passion and artistry and true love for stories to I would rather try to make a movie for the rest of my life than make a movie at that level. So that was the struggle I had for the last 10 years of being right in this middle and not having the resume to be able to make the leap to where I believe that I to be able to work with the talent that I want to work with and that I think I'm capable of working with, and too much ego to lower myself to work with the C players. I dealt with that a lot. That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't made a film in 10 years since Evidence. My film was copied, and that was that. Years later, I came across the opportunity to make the sequel to Evidence. And it was during this time of pre-production and planning that I experienced my mental breakdown and it completely changing the course of my life. I can't help but feel that Evidence is somehow linked to that night. If I hadn't gone through that process of making Evidence and it gaining the notoriety that it did, and then it plummeting to or disappearing off of people's radar as it did as well, I think was meant to happen to deliver me to that, to give me the life experiences necessary and the tools needed to arrive at this very moment right here. I think that the movie Evidence and its any involvement that I should have in it is to be cursed, if you will. There's lots of stories in Hollywood of films, being cursed. I think Evidence is one of them, and the entire franchise is. And so that's why I will never make a sequel to Evidence. In fact, I'm going to give you, the world, the script, and if anybody ever wants to make it, you have my full agreement or acceptance. Go and make it. I will never make Evidence 2. That is one of the reasons I'm also making this video, is to tell you that there will be no sequel, and hopefully this video explains why. All the people out there, all the years, every single comment that I've ever read, where's the sequel? I'm here to tell you that there will never be a sequel made by me. And I'm sorry. I really, really, really love the story that I came up with for the sequel, and it's perfect, and it explains everything that you need explaining, and I think it would be very fulfilling to the fans of Evidence, because I know all of you fans out there, I know, and you would love to see a sequel for it, and you have no idea the direction in which I would want to take it. But I will not make it. I can't make it. And this is me letting go of that film and that franchise forever. So I want this to be somewhat of a cautionary tale to any young or aspiring filmmaker, writer, creative. Some of the things that I've told you, a lot of the things I've told you, you hopefully brings into question your own commitment to this industry. And I really, really want you to question that. I want you to question of whether or not you actually have it in you to do it. And it's important because the potential promise for glory and goods that Hollywood and this industry provides is such an easy attraction for the mentally unstable. And from one person's perspective, what I've seen in the 10 to 12 years that I have lived in Los Angeles and worked in the film industry, not only is it a magnet for the mentally unstable, it is also a trap for the mentally unstable. And I've just experienced far too much sadness not to speak up. Every single person has the most amazing story in the entire world, and it's right here and it's right here. The only thing that they need help with is how to tell that. I'm here to help you tell that the best way you can. Everybody should tell their story, because not only will it educate the world on your unique situation, but it will also put the mirror on yourself, and by doing that, that's when you really start to grow. Let this be a rallying cry to all creatives. Let this message be the message that you needed to hear to get you to take your thoughts and your feelings and to put them into whatever creative media that you operate in, to give you the courage to share it with the world. And there is no better time than the time we're living in right now. I don't know how it's not crystal clear to every single one of you. You've just got to get up and you just got to I want this to be the loudest rallying cry. I want this message to reach that 15-year-old kid from Everett, Washington that desperately wanted somebody from above in my industry to look at me and say, "Go for it, kid." That is all I needed. One person to look at me and say, "You can do it." Let this video be that message. I'm staring right at that 15-year-old kid right now. And I'm giving you every bit of permission in my being and body to say, "Go for it." And let this opportunity right now be that moment that you say, "Fuck it," and you go. And if you're afraid to fail, look at me. I've failed so many times in life and in this industry. I've failed in this industry more than you ever will. So do not be afraid to tell your story. Look towards me for safety and protection against those assholes. Let this be a rallying cry to every single one of you. I don't know how more desperate of a plea I can make. I am trying to be as honest and crystal clear as I possibly can that there has never been and will never be a greater opportunity in our lifetime to be able to grab hold of something and to change our industry for the better. Because it desperately needs it. And the reason I know is because I am in it, and I am in the trenches, And I am seeing those who are falling away from the wayside. And it's saddening, and it's hurtful, and it's painful. And I don't want anyone else to have to go through it. And this is the only way that I know to try and reach out to you. To listen to me and to follow me so that we can all live and create a world and an industry that is not only backed and filled with all the love and the energy and the positivity that we can possibly give it, but that it's also done with great storytelling in mind and forgets about the spectacle and the oohs and ahs that Hollywood has blanketed us with for decades. Now is the time that it ends. Right this second. Now, so some of you may have questions either about the industry or personal experiences or things you want to say or tell me, good or bad. You can go to my homepage, my website, RynoRyder.com. You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at RynoRyder. I am active on Reddit at RynoRyder11. I'm on Facebook, RynoRyder, Ryan McCoy, and on TikTok at RynoRyder. I also have a podcast, RynoRyder's podcast, that is available on every major platform where you hear your podcasts. And I am in physical form here in Los Angeles, California. You can always come visit. And my phone number is 425-750-2339. You can call me. What else? Is that it?
That's it.
Shaving time?
I think so.